What is up, Gabriel? We were back after a little break.
Yeah, a little spring break, but now that it's actually coming up on spring in our neck of the woods,
And break.
let's get back to podcasting, right? Hide away inside while the sun is out.
I podcast all the time, Gabe. I don't know what you're doing.
You do. Yeah. I'm watching the TV show.
I need a break from all of it.
From just podcasting in general?
From life. Yeah.
From life.
From life.
Do you have vacations planned for the summer?
I mean, yeah.
You're more of an international traveler than I am.
Not lately. No international stuff lately, but we have stuff planned.
No. I don't think we'd be welcome in a lot of international ports these days.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, they're even like, I heard Canada slapped a big tariff on those little stickers that Americans put on their backpacks to make people think they're Canadian.
Oh, really? That's fun.
That's the world we live in, folks. Don't blame me. I voted for Kodos. Welcome to Blank as a Fart. That was a weird way to launch tonight. I'm Gabe. That's Ian. We're watching Twin Peaks. We're through almost all of it. We're halfway now through The Return, which is, an 18-hour film. David Lynch at his most self-indulgent in his most favorite sandbox. So I'm enjoying it a little more than Ian is, I would think.
Probably a lot
because
more.
I'm more of a Twin Peaks nerd than I am a Lynch nerd, whereas Ian is quite the opposite. But, we're still enjoying our trip through it, and we're enjoying contrasting our points of view, and we hope you are as well. So yeah, we killed the email account. We don't use it. Nobody uses it. Comment on the socials. Blank as a Fart. We've got it cornered. It's the only podcast of that name in town. It is far from the only Twin Peaks podcast, we'll confess.
Confirmed.
But it's the best named one.
Indeed.
Before we get into it, it's been a while since we've given a shout out to friend of the show, Domer, who provides us with our intro and closing theme. The name of that song is Big Old Dead. You can find that from his album, self-titled, Domer, on Spotify and iTunes. And YouTube. Speaking of which,
yeah, you can find us there.
You can. You can find all of our back episodes, 50 plus of them at this point.
No.
We've been at it for over a year.
42.
42. Shit, 40 plus. That's right. 50 plus weeks we've been at it. Give or take. Not every week.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We're rolling tonight, folks.
I mean, I don't know what goes on, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know.
I'm not even
ketamine
forced
tonight?
into my first drink.
No.
A little hash, it's legal.
Little hash.
A little.
I don't know little hash in Gabe's dictionary. I don't know what that actually defines out to. That's probably way more than I could probably handle. A little. Anyway.
You're not wrong, my friend. You're not wrong. Yeah, so we ready to start? You got anything else you want to add before we dig in?
Just, overview. I'm going to say, yes, we learn a lot of kind of new interesting things. Show's ultimately, for me, kind of tedious. Matthew Lillard puts in a performance, though, that is pretty awesome. That's kind of my wrap-up. But
yeah, and I definitely agree is that Matthew Lillard is the highlight of this episode right here.
Also,
100%.
This is MCU, just full of MCU faves at this point. We got Kyle MacLachlan from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We got oh my god, I'm having a blank as a fart moment. Oh, well, there's a special guest in this episode that was in Incredible Hulk, and then also in She-Hulk.
Yes.
And then Matthew Lillard has been pinpointed to be in season 2 of Daredevil. So we got like a bunch of MCU shit going on. Anyway.
And Miguel Ferrer also had his bit part in the MCU as Vice President Rodriguez, I believe.
Yes, you're also correct about that. I was like trying to like rack my brain about who else is in there. Who else? Anyway, you're right. I totally forgot about that. Anyway, there you go. MCU bang off. MCU gang bang.
That's right. It's all connected, folks.
Disney putting in the money.
Dude, with that big of a franchise, it's hard not to be. So yeah, that's close second is our guest star later today, and thankfully we get plenty more with him. So he's not a one and done.
Oh, okay.
I'll spoil that right away, but you wouldn't have expected that anyway. I mean, he's been given. I'm getting ahead of ourselves here.
You're getting ahead of yourselves, but I had a question. I swore in a previous episode you said that none of the musical acts make a return.
I don't think I said that.
I'm pretty sure in an episode you said that.
If I did, I was definitely mistaken.
Because this episode is like, what the fuck is he talking about? All right. I don't know if you did. People would have to go back and listen. I'm definitely not going to go back and listen.
There may be specific ones that I mentioned that don't come back.
Okay. I just felt like I would comment. I feel like there was a comment, a hop and comment about like, they're like one and dones. It was like, okay. But anyway, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
If I misspoke, I apologize, because that is very clearly not the case, and I'm pretty sure that Au Revoir Simone is not the last one to double appear. Although unfortunately, Nine Inch Nails is not one of those artists.
Sure.
How about we get rolling? Yeah.
Let's get
Part
rolling.
9. Let's do it.
See me
That's not my favorite version. No. Wrong version.
I know.
As part 9 begins, we see Mr. C walking down a dirt road in early morning, still caked in his own blood. He snatches a red bandana from a random fence post and glares around, and that's it. We move right to the FBI's private jet, where Gordon is loudly taking a call from Colonel Davis while Diane and Albert try to catch some Z's in the front cabin. The colonel is passing along the info to meet Lieutenant Knox in Buckhorn with Major Briggs' body. Right back to Mr. C, who has arrived at a rural farm and is greeted by his henchman Hutch. It's Tim Roth finally showing up. Like I said, he's not a one and done. Hutch and Chantal get plenty of material to dig into later on. In the back 9, as it were. After promising Mr. C some new phones and guns, Hutch calls out Chantal. That's Jennifer Jason Leigh making her return. She grabs the med kit to patch up Mr. C's bullet wound while the farmers who own the place are sleeping out back. Back on the jet, where Cole has the unfortunate task of breaking the news to Diane that they're not taking her back to Philly right away. He eases her ire by letting her know this involves a Blue Rose case, and also with the promise of more booze. While Gordon informs the pilots of their new destination, Diane catches Albert glancing at her, and he curses himself before she gets a chance, rolls over, and tries to get more sleep. Diane, meanwhile, sighs in frustration as she sees a large red blocked symbol show up on the screen of her phone. Tammy answers a call on the official line from Warden Murphy and hands it off to Cole, who loudly voices his disbelief at learning of Mr. C's escape. So this is like just rapid fire back and forth. This is very, very different, and it really just feels like we're kind of catching up for the lack of linear storytelling that we saw last week. But this is just rapid fire. Like, this is all within like the first 5 or 10 minutes of the episode that we do all this. And it's not.
And even still, it felt tedious. I thought it was funny that like she brought the phone to him, and she goes like, "Here's the phone. Please be quiet." And then he's just loud as always. It's just like,
and then he just Gordon.
It's just like, okay, So is it important that we're not supposed to hear any of this, or I don't know?
Well, you can see they do cut back to like Diane opening her eyes at the one point. So,
but it's just so heavy-handed. Like, oh, no one's supposed to hear this, but everyone's gonna hear it. It's just like,
yeah, it's not. I mean, if like for people who are invested in the story, like myself, I wouldn't say it's tedious, but it does feel rote. Like it's not. Okay, maybe it's tedious. It's not exciting. I'll give it that.
They also,
but like if you're looking for those breadcrumbs of like, okay, what does this mean? Occasionally we get those, not necessarily in this scene. This is more just connective tissue for everybody getting filled in on everything else.
Well, really, this whole sequence is about like, hey, we need you to land in this area with these other people where all this other shit's been happening in Knoxville or whatever. Like, it's just like, and we couldn't have just gotten to it. No, they like go.
Well, a lot of this is
in classic Lynch bullshit. It's just like it drags on forever because like don't tell me how long a scene can be. It's just like no shit, motherfucker. I'm not gonna tell you how long it can be, but I'm just saying like it didn't need to be that fucking long. Anyway,
well, there's a lot of stuff that's been inferred or implied over the last 8 episodes that we're finally getting confirmed. Like, for example, that Duncan Todd is working for Mr. C, and that he's the one that's contracting out all these people to kill Dougie. But yeah, a lot of it just feels, I mean, at least those parts they kept brief. But yeah, a lot of this does feel like, okay, we could have done this in the same 30 seconds in an earlier episode where there was silence for those 30 seconds instead.
But this just shows how like Lynch is into like everyone he's like into everyone chewing scenery. Not even not just the good actors, but all the actors. Like all the actors can just do whatever they want, and he's just okay with it, and that's fine. That's fun. But he's earned that. But no other person in their right mind is going to get away with this kind of shit, you know? I honestly don't think he should have got away with it. I think there should have been a heavier editorial on this. I
think somebody like Herzog probably could. Somebody from the same like a lot of people. General school.
I think a lot of people could have.
Modern filmmakers.
I would love. Oh, I think a lot of modern filmmakers could have cut this down to way shorter. Like that's just the.
Well, I mean, could get away with
it. Sure, but I think you'd have a better piece if it was shortened. That's what I'm saying. I think.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think this is just excess. We're surfing on Lynch's history, and it's just like it's fun for people like you that are interested in that and that think it's fun, but like ultimately as like a well-crafted piece of story, I don't think it's necessary, and I think I think you lose a little bit of the master craftsman. I think he loses a bit, but I've already kind of talked about this, but I think he loses a bit of that.
Right. Here. Yeah, with the bigger canvas, there tends to be a little more splatter involved instead of focusing on the. Well, yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Anyway, but yeah, same overall criticism, which is a fair criticism from a filmmaker's point of view. No lie there. Let's get back to Mr. C, who has finally gotten himself cleaned up and whips out one of his new phones, a pink one, to compose a text, which reads, "Around the dinner table, the conversation is lively.
Things are getting saucy, just like they are here at Blank as a Fart."
Things are always saucy at Blank as a Fart.
Or lively at the dinner table, as they say.
Lively at the Discord server. He then places a call to Duncan Todd in Vegas. Remember him? The guy with the fancy office? And the Lenovo ThinkPad?
He still has a
their conversation. He does have a ThinkPad. Other people get MacBooks, though. Must be a company expense. That's why. He only gets a $300 budget for his laptop. Anyway, their conversation is very brief, but it is easy to read Mr. C's disappointment in Duncan having thus far failed in his task, which we presume is kill Dougie.
Can I be honest for a second, though? Those ThinkPads aren't cheap. I have one. It's
Really?
not cheap. Like there's certain ones, like depending on the build, it's not cheap.
Okay,
Just
fair.
FYI.
They're the ones I see at my workplace, so I assume they're the cheapest ones available.
No, you can get them built, and I have a built one with like a NVIDIA 480 or 470 in it. It's way more expensive than
Okay.
Apple. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Wow.
I get it.
I am way out of the computer market, and I'm about to be way further out.
I'm just trying to be, be equal here. Just trying to like.
I hear you. Speak up for the little guy. We are not Apple loyalists here at Blank as a Fart.
And as we should not be.
No. Buy the product that best suits you, regardless of who makes it.
I mean, Tim Cook was at Trump's fucking inauguration, so.
They all were, dude.
I don't think
there's nothing you can buy.
I don't think the guy
where
from
that
ThinkPad
money isn't going to
was
go
there.
to somebody.
I'm pretty sure the guy from ThinkPad was there. He was
Yeah,
there.
somebody on the board was.
Gabe was there.
There's no getting around it. There's no getting around it.
Gabe doesn't like ThinkPad. He's on the board. He hates it. He's there at the.
I don't like capitalism.
Yeah, well. Anyway, continue on.
That covers a broad spectrum right there. Where did we leave off? Okay, yeah, what was it? Better be done next time I call. Todd summons his assistant Roger into his office before we go back to the farm, where Mr. C instructs Hutch to kill the warden within the next 2 days, to be followed by a, quote, doubleheader in Vegas, which I assume to mean both Dougie and Duncan Todd. Hutch encourages his wife to plant a big sloppy kiss onto Mr. C, which she does with gusto, before lovingly pressing a bag of Cheetos into his hand.
She wished it was more.
Yeah, more than tongue and Cheetos, but they're on a schedule.
Check, darling.
Yeah, he's already behind thanks to traitorous bastard Ray. No honor amongst thieves. Mr. C hops into a truck and throws his phone out into the dirt, telling Hutch to kill it, and he happily obliges with the use of his shotgun. Pow!
What is your opinion of Tim Roth?
I like Tim Roth. He's fun.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Reservoir Dogs, that's where everybody really gets their introduction to the guy.
Yeah, he's one of the worst in Reservoir Dogs, though.
Yeah, but he's so fucking green back in those days. I honestly really, really like him in Incredible Hulk. I think up until he transforms, he's one of the best reasons to watch that movie.
Even better in She-Hulk because of it.
He's a different person in She-Hulk, but
so
that contrast between the two, it's excellent, yes. But you can, in the beginning, you can see the obsession in him, and, you can see he keeps it quiet. There's the quiet intensity that he has, but...
So there's a film...
and I'll take that back. I did see him in Pulp Fiction before Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, well, his part in Pulp Fiction is smaller, and it's not...
But again, the quiet intensity, the very last scene, the stare down between him and Jules...
I guess, but...
That's a smolder there.
He's still not that great there, in my opinion. But there's a film... that went up against Braveheart, where he plays the villain in a movie with what's his name, called Rob Roy, and he plays the villain.
Oh, Liam
Neeson. He plays
Liam Neeson.
He is incredibly awful in that movie. So that's when I kind of okay, he's not that bad. I mean, he's
before he hit his stride,
but I kind of gave him his props, but as much as I love Reservoir Dogs, he is the worst part of that movie, in my opinion.
He gets the end gets a little weird.
Well, he's just not good. He's just never, I don't know. He was just, I don't know. I was not ever really a big fan of his until a little bit
I thought
later.
it was a more realistic depiction of somebody getting shot in a movie than you had really seen on film in the 90s.
Yeah, but even the flashback stuff where he's just acting with Delroy Lindo, he's just not good. He's just that he's just not a good actor in that shit, and it's just like it. But he's kind of settled into it. But he's always been kind of an okay actor. I've never really thought he was. Like, I still think to this day his best part is actually in Rob Roy.
Oh, and Rob Roy. I figured you were going to say She-Hulk.
Oh, no. He's fun in She-Hulk.
You know, it's weird because, like, I know him from Tarantino in the 90s, and then I know him from Marvel in, like, the late 2000s and 2020, but
I don't really know him from
I don't know much from in between. And I'm sure there was something.
Oh, there's a lot.
Where I saw him crop up. Yeah. Let's take a moment to.
Oh, we're gonna take a moment. Deep dive Tim Roth.
He's worth it, right?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't need it.
Well, I do.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
We're doing this for me and for all the other
editorial note. Gabe took us down this road.
I will take full credit for this digression right here. Rob Roy is his very top IMDb credit.
Yeah.
That should make you happy.
It's brutal.
He
rapes Jessica Lange. Oh, it's a brutal,
ugly.
It's a brutal film.
Well, glad to know it's not just David Lynch who uses that for character work.
Oh no, yeah. Come on.
Where is all?
My mom took us to see that movie in the theater, and we were like, "What the fuck is going on?" It's like, what the fuck?
I saw it. My parents took us to see what? My parents took us to see Silence of the Lambs in the theater.
Oh, that's fun.
When I was 11, and my brother would have been like 7 or 8. Pretty fucked up, but we turned out all right.
What else was he in?
Nothing that oh, there we go. Planet of the Apes. That was the big one that I couldn't remember. A lot of this looks like... He plays Dutch Schultz in Hoodlum, which was a Lawrence Fishburne vehicle. He was in Gridlocked with Tupac. 4 Rooms, probably the Tarantino segment would be my guess. Yeah, a lot of this stuff I do not recognize. Particularly the mid-2000s. Dark Water sounds familiar, but I don't think it's something I saw. Oh, okay. He had his TV series on Fox where he could tell when people were lying to him. He did an episode of Robot Chicken, of all things. Oh, okay. He was in Selma. He plays Governor Wallace in Selma. Another villainous role.
I don't remember him in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I'm behind on my Tarantino.
Oh, you didn't see that movie? The movie's great. And now
I haven't seen that. I still haven't seen Hateful Eight.
Oh, well, I would watch Once Upon a Time.
I did see Django. He's in Shang-Chi? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because he's another abomination.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's still working, but,
That's
a lot of those
saying.
look like Pay the Mortgage movies to me.
He is quite a bit in Hateful Eight, isn't he? Yeah.
I mean, there's only like 6 people in that movie, right? So
no, there's more than 6. That's a complicated movie.
That's another one that he and JJL are in together, right?
It's a complicated movie, Gabe. Have you not seen it?
No, I just said that.
I know. I saw the 70mm print at Hollywood on Christmas when it came around, and my Bryn
Do you see they're doing?
Bryn got me tickets for that way back in the day when it launched. I was like, that's fun.
They're doing Mulholland Drive in 35mm next month, but it's sold out already.
I'll watch that on
And Ray Wise.
I'll watch it on VHS on my little tube TV.
Yeah. Ray Wise is going to be at the Clinton Street.
Oh, for what?
They're doing a...
Oh, for Twin Peaks?
A film festival, essentially.
Oh.
They're doing 2 screenings of Fire Walk with Me. They're also doing a screening of RoboCop. and a screening of Swamp Thing.
Are you going to those? Any of those?
Yeah, we'll see. I haven't looked at the price yet.
You should get him
It's
on the
been
show.
a
You say,
lean
hey,
month.
hey, Ray, what? Hey, we're the premier Twin Peaks podcast. We should have you on, and we just interview him.
Maybe I can at least do him a segment.
We just interview him.
See if he'll be willing to record an intro or something.
Oh, that'd be great. I'm Ray Wise, and I'm blank as a fart.
Hey, man, he was on Tim and Eric. He was cool. He might do that.
Maybe. Good luck, Gabe.
Yeah, Godspeed. Back to the show. I am zoomed way ahead here, so let me get back to where we need to be. Shotgun, the cow. Okay. Las Vegas is where we're at now. The police department in particular, where two of the detectives Fusco are interviewing Bushnell Mullins. They're trying to gather info in the wake of the attack on Dougie, who is hanging out in the waiting room with Janie E. and a large cup of coffee. Mullins is very defensive of his employee from the detective's line of questioning, mentioning that Dougie had been in a car accident shortly before he came to work for him about 12 years ago. Dougie backstory. I completely forgot that we got some of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The third Fusco enters, carrying a large file, and nods to his two brothers? Cousins?
I don't know.
I don't think we ever get it established. And then they rise from their chairs, thanking Mullins for his time. There does seem to be a little bit of an undercurrent of animosity here between Mullins and the detectives. Or am I misreading that, or do you see that too?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Because, Mullins doesn't leave right away. He still kind of pokes at him. He's like, kind of weird that this happens right after the blown up car, right? And then the detectives just kind of blow him off. Yeah. And then he flexes his boxing hand, Battlin Bud, getting ready to battle. Watching the scene.
But then these three dudes, these officers, then they get weird anyway. And it's just like, they make them weirder as like, okay. So I don't even know what to really make of them. Like, initially they were kind of...
I would tag them as lawful neutral, is where I would put them at.
But it's also like, why do we need three of them to handle this? Like, what is that about? Like, are these like the Stooges? Like, what the fuck?
It's, yeah. I mean, typically you would have two partners, but...
We got three.
Or you would have a pair, like one partner, but...
Right.
But because they're all Fuscos, I mean, to make it weird, it's an interesting dynamic. But yeah, I don't think they're necessarily like on the side of evil here. But like watching through this, I get a whole new appreciation for Bushnell and for the actor who plays him. Because he's like in his late 70s during filming of this, and he's pretty sharp, and he's right on his lines.
He's definitely more the sympathetic character. Like he's not like like I don't trust these cops.
Right, they give you vibes,
and he's kind of trying to protect Dougie, even though he doesn't know how to deal with Dougie because he's unsure what's up with Dougie. Like I don't.
Well, that's the way everybody is.
Which is funny because this is the guy that's the leader of this law firm. So he shouldn't be the good guy, really, right? Like it's kind of funny.
Or an insurance agency.
It's just like he shouldn't be the good guy.
Right, he's the big boss,
Right.
But he is. He's been like a genuine positive force in Dougie's life, helping him along the way. And, weirdly enough, the people that he selects for this kind of role, like Jade, for example. Like, if not for Jade, Dougie never would have made it to the casino, never would have struck it big.
Wouldn't have gotten two rides.
Right? The key for the room in Twin Peaks never would have made it back to town. She's the one that found that and dropped it in the mailbox. So, yeah, it's weird the people that he selects as like these agents of good in our home dimension or whatever you want to call it that are either placed there or are randomly there to guide Dougie along his path. Yeah, so yeah, Big Boss being one of those expectations. Nice to see them subverted.
Mm-hmm. But the cops are still fucking assholes in any world, any universe. Cops are shit.
Where were we? Oh yeah. Bud makes a visit out to the lobby where he gives Dougie the rest of the day off so Janie E can take him to the doctor. Before he leaves, Mullins vows to get together with Dougie tomorrow so they can find some answers. Dougie echoes the sentiment. The Fuscos carefully watch Mullins exit before they discuss the information in the file, namely that there are no records for Dougie Jones prior to the year 1997. No birth certificate, no school records, no tax records, nothing of that nature. The bald Fusco, that's Keckner, for those keeping score.
They're all kind of balding for the record, but yes.
Right, but yeah. Keckner Fusco, makes a legitimately decent guess. Witness protection, that's pretty reasonable. And says he'll talk to his friend in the Justice Department about it. They then move on to some small talk, lamenting about the cost of your taillight repairs.
Whoa. Does Keckner make that? I thought it was the other dude that makes that.
No, it's Keckner's suggestion. And then the other dude asks him, do you still have your friend in the Justice Department?
Oh, I thought it was the other guy who said it.
No.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Okay. But I am the one who watched this episode twice. So.
Okay. Okay. I will put on my headphones and I want to go look right now. Just kidding.
Yeah, right. Like you'll watch the episode again.
Yeah.
They then move on to some small talk, lamenting about the cost of tail light repairs.
Oh my
before
God.
The giggly one cracks them all up with a shared memory. While an annoyed Janie E peers around the corner from her seat in the waiting room. Janie E is Ian, is all of us. They wonder aloud if they should interview Dougie again. They wonder aloud if they should interview Dougie again, but they realize they're not going to get much out of him and instead are just going to get more grief out of Janie E. Keckner Fusco then gets the bright idea to grab Dougie a fresh cup of coffee, then brings the used mug back for fingerprints and DNA analysis. I'm not entirely sure that would hold up in court, if it comes to that, but whatever.
I also don't really understand the point of it. If they just let him go. No, but if they just let him go, they had the other mug. Like I was sitting there like, okay, this cool, like this idea, but it's like he literally had the other mug that he had drank and touched. If they said, okay, you guys are free to go, they could have taken the other mug and put it in the bag. Like I'm just like, right. Was this really that cool of an idea, David Lynch? Like,
well,
it's just so stupid.
In argument, they may not have decided to let them go until they got the news about Ike the Spike.
You're right, and then
they may have still
and Coop's DNA probably had not actually gotten into that first cup. So, not until after they made that decision would his DNA be in the second cup, because like he was clearly wanting to breed DNA into the second cup, but not the first cup. Come on, Gabe. What? Okay, anyway.
We're being nitpicky here.
Nitpicky? I just felt the whole thing was unnecessary. What is the other cup? It's just sitting there.
At least it was a normal shaped coffee mug, right?
Sure. Whatever.
But I agree. They could have just let them go and picked up the mug they left behind. It's not like he was going to take it with him when he left.
He's gonna wash it thoroughly before he left. That's what I do when I go to the
Janie E was going to obsessively, compulsively get the prints off of it.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Anyway, yeah, the sergeant enters the room to let them know that they received an ID on the palm print, or rather, the palm, from the gun. Looks like Ike the Spike is a known quantity to Las Vegas homicide.
Whoa!
And he's been located.
Whoa! Did you not put the part with the red heels and the outlet?
That comes after this.
Does it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! I thought it was before it.
Nope.
Okay.
This doesn't come until after the Fuscos make their exit. So anyway, yeah, Ike the Spike is known to the Fuscos. His location has been made in an off-strip motel. The Fusco trio exits to join the sting, instructing the sergeant to let the Joneses go as soon as he's done logging the evidence. This gives Dougie a few more minutes to stare off into space.
Okay.
We actually see things from his perspective for a minute as he focuses on the American flag, while we hear a faint rendition of America the Beautiful in the background. A young woman enters carrying an armful of files as she walks across the room. Dougie's gaze follows her red high heels until they pass by a wall outlet, which he then fixes his stare on intently while we hear that omnipresent faint buzzing in the background. Did you have further comment about the heels?
That's great.
They were a nice pair of legs.
Ooh,
Fun shot.
She knows how to use them. Anyway.
And there's our chauvinism for the week. Apologies, ladies. We love you. We really
never
do.
apologize for that kind of chauvinism. All right.
A little more hilarity with the Fuscos as they examine their new taillight. Long shot out in the parking lot. Minimal audible dialogue except for chuckles.
What was the point
and
of
his
this
hilarious
shot?
laugh?
What was the point of this?
No point. No point at all.
Let's cut it out.
Could have done without this. Could easily have done without this. I would have rather seen lots more of Au revoir, Simone, to be perfectly honest.
Sure. Though we did get a decent amount with them, but
we did.
It's never enough.
I enjoyed it. I really liked that song, honestly. I added it to my library after watching that episode.
Better than the first one, yeah.
Yeah. But we'll talk more about that later. Let's instead go to Ike the Spike's room at the motel. He is pounding whiskey and making a phone call, leaving the coded message, "No cigar," and claiming medical leave. As the Fuscos pull up in their unmarked car, joining the rest of the detectives and the uniformed officers, Ike downs the last of his whiskey and grabs his luggage to head out, very casually. At one end of the hall, 3 guns are drawn on him, so he turns and walks very casually in the other direction. Where at the other end of the hall, 3 more guns are drawn on him, each one in the hand of a Fusco. After they explain their supporting evidence, namely a lump of his actual flesh, Ike raises his hands in surrender, the right one heavily bandaged. Boy, and we thought we used a lot of gauze on my fingertip, huh? Imagine the scale that Ike the Spike had to deal with. But I never checked to see if that actor was in anything else. Did you recognize him from anything?
Ike the Spike?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Bald midget guy? No,
yeah.
Short person. Whatever you called him. I've never. I don't recognize this one.
He's an amusing character to me.
Is he?
I mean, he gets fun little moments like when he's all sad about his ice pick getting bent.
You can relate to him. Short, bald.
It's just unexpected behavior from a... Well, yeah, there's that too. I mean, I don't go so far as to suffer from the Joe Rogan complex, thankfully.
You also like whiskey. You have like a lot in common.
We do. Except for the ice pick, murdery parts.
You say that now just to like...
I do say that now.
So the public can know that you're not. But we don't actually know that. So the jury's still out.
Right, yeah. Nobody follows Gabe all the time. Nobody knows what Gabe does all the time.
Exactly. Thank you for.
For those of you not watching on YouTube, I just rolled my eyes about as hard as I possibly can.
But he could have rolled them harder.
Thanks,
so I
thanks
still
for
maybe
implying that I'm a competent hitman, Ian.
competent.
Really appreciate that.
Competent.
Well, I mean,
Worse than being
Ike the Spike's-
incompetent. You're an incompetent hitman.
No, if I were incompetent, then I wouldn't be sitting in my dining room doing a podcast, would I?
I think it's the perfect cover. Shit, dude. What are you talking about?
Wow. The things you do for clicks, brother.
Ain't no one clicking this, but sure.
They might now. Who knows? The FBI might be clicking away.
Always be closing. Anyway, yes. Selling. Sell. Capitalism.
Constantly sell. Where are we? We're headed to Twin Peaks, finally. For the first time this week. Specifically, it's that... No, thankfully. But we do get this... and I'm sure somebody nerdier than me could tell if this is true or not, but we get that establishing shot where it's just like the light shining through the trees, like right over the top of the sheriff's station. And, that's usually implication of like a good guy scene. But I don't know if it specifically implies a Lucy and Andy scene. Like every time we get that establishing shot, I'd have to go back and check, or I would encourage any fellow nerds watching, to let us know in the comments if that's true or not. Yeah, this is a brief but I feel charming scene. Ian, I'm sure, feels unnecessary scene, where Lucy and Andy have a debate over the color of the chair they plan to order. Things get a little firm, but the debate ends when Andy kindly allows Lucy to make the decision, and she ends up choosing the one that Andy wanted all along anyway. Can you relate to this one, Ian? I've never been married, so...
I can't relate to that, no.
No? You never have disagreements with the wife over furniture?
No,
I didn't use her name. I wasn't sure if I had that permission.
No. I think we're both artists, so we have a very distinct sense of style, and we always know what we're looking for initially. So, like, it's not like us arguing over two different colors. It's us arguing over the model of the color, but they're different models and textures of the same color. So it becomes a very different. It becomes more function.
I want a darker blue than this.
No. The function of the couch first. Like, we like this color. We know this color. Then it becomes like, does it feel good? Do we like it? Like, yeah, it becomes that. And that's
leather or fabric.
Yeah. That's the more, like, we usually know going in what we want. And we share that same kind of, so like, we wouldn't, very rarely do we pick very wildly different, like, color choices. We usually settle on the same thing. It's just like, this one has, it's a continuous cushion, or it's 3 cushions, or it has sewed in backing cushions, or it doesn't have sewed in backing cushions, or it has, it's like very different stuff. It's not, and then it's never an argument. It's just like a debate. Well, this is cool. Well, this will suck for this. This would be cool. Or dog hair is going to stick to this like a motherfucker. It becomes very different. Right. It's never that binary.
It's a functionality
it's never
discussion.
Binary like this scene where it's like, I like the red one and I like the beige one. Honestly, if it was Brent and I in this situation, none of us are picking the beige chair. Like, that's just like fact. Like, we're always more lively. We're gonna go red. I don't know, but it's a fun thing. Honestly, it's kind of cute.
I preferred the beige one myself.
It's kind of cute. It's kind of funny. It's kind of I didn't like either of them. But I'm just saying, like, it's
no, that pattern was awful.
It's gross.
The pattern was hideous.
But it's like, just like how much joy she got doing it for him. Like, she got so much more joy out of the fact that She was getting
But
it for
also,
him, and
you could see the joy in him allowing her to make the decision, like leaving it up to her. And
but do you think he's
yeah, it
smart
was
enough to know that that's what's happening? Do you think he's that
yes,
smart?
yes.
Do we actually think he's that smart? Okay, all right.
I do,
I
but I
actually
know
don't
more than
know.
you do about
I
Andy.
actually don't
So
know if he's that smart to recognize
I
that.
think at this point he's that smart about Lucy.
You think so? All right.
They've been together, 25 years at this point. I think he knows his wife. So whether or not he's going to be surprised when he sees the red chair, couldn't tell you.
Oh, he's totally gonna be surprised
But
about it. He says, "Oh, I love it. Oh my
but
god, what happened here?"
but he knows what was really important to her was the ability to decide, and not necessarily the color of the chair, is what I'm saying.
Yes. No, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
once
what he recognizes.
he gave her the choice, she likes the fact that she got to make the choice and then chose it for him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will say once again that Andy's fake gut is terribly distracting, though.
His fake gut and his fucking wildly bouffant hair, all of it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, the Conan O'Brien shit.
It's not even. It's
I mean,
it's beyond
that's
Conan O'Brien. It's like 3 stories higher than Conan O'Brien. It's wild. I don't
that's
know.
that's within his character, and I mean, like, and I can see why Lynch would think that, like, Andy wouldn't be, Hollywood fit. But the fake gut they ended up using is just so clearly fake. Like,
I also just I don't.
and as per like watching the behind the scenes documentaries, like, and seeing all these personal touches that Lynch has applied to, like, the fake brain from Daria's gunshot wound, or like this little tiny suture on the eyeless woman in the purple zone or whatever, for the fake gut to be like this bad. It seems like why was there not that level of detail? Why was that not? Yeah, why did this detail not have that level of attention paid to it? It seems like it's a much more visible one than any of the others to me.
It's just got to be like Lynch's his parents. Like, they got to be the analogs.
Oh,
And, like,
100%.
That's just what's going on here.
Yeah.
They're like, they no longer have any
maybe
actual
an aunt, an uncle, or
they have no actual.
Yeah, definitely some weird relatives, somebody from his childhood.
But they have no actual bearing on the actual story or whatever. They're just literally just like, here are these characters you love. Okay, maybe, but at this point, nothing. It's just like a name,
at this point, nothing.
Bullshit, garbage, and it's just like, here we go, buckle in. What are we doing?
Yep. We do get a little bit of a mystery scene here next, as we find ourselves in a large home with some really nice wood panel floors and a fancy spiral staircase leading up to a loft. We hear an older woman calling out for Johnny, but we don't actually see anyone for a little bit until a man in a blue tracksuit runs full speed through the hallway, just giving us a glimpse as he dashes into another room. We then hear a loud crash and some glass shattering, and then cut to the other room where we see Johnny, presumably, has run headfirst into the wall, smashing some pictures and injuring himself pretty badly. A sobbing woman comes into the frame to attend to him. Was this enough info for you to figure out who this was?
No, I have no idea what this was.
This is Johnny Horn.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Johnny Horn and his mother, Sylvia. This is what their life is like now.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, what? Huh?
Yeah. It's one of those ones you have to pick up from the credits. I mean, I kind of had an inkling knowing Twin Peaks the way I do. But yeah. Poor Johnny Horn.
The sucky thing about the credits now is that they just they keep growing and they don't take away anybody. So like, there's just a lot of credits of people that actually aren't in the show this week. Like Laura Palmer.
Like who?
Laura Palmer wasn't in the show this week.
She's credited in every episode because
but
of
that's
her
what I'm saying. So,
shot
like,
in the open credits.
but that's stupid. Like,
There's a
it's
few
dumb.
legacy characters
There's
that
just a bunch of
get
shit that's like,
appearances.
okay, what?
Like they credited Don Davis because there's the picture of Major Briggs later on. So he never uses anybody's image without crediting them.
Okay.
So if they're in the credits, then their face appears.
Anyway,
in the
so the
episode.
credits long, and it's like I lose interest in like reading all.
Mace Shinamik does not appear in the credits because Shelley isn't in this episode.
Okay, fine. I don't care. I'm just saying.
I'm saying it's very specific characters that have that legacy credit appearance.
It becomes.
But yeah, sometimes it fills in
it
the
becomes like a
blanks for
thing
you.
where like I have to like actually I would have to pause it and read all of the credits, and even then I'm like I don't really care who these people are. Anyway, that's just.
I have to do it because I write the recaps and I need to know everybody's names.
There you go.
Also,
Johnny
I'm interested.
Horn, the Indian kid, the kid who thought he was an Indian. Yes. Okay.
Yep. Audrey's older brother.
Of which we never saw their actual house, did we?
We just always kind of assumed they lived in the Great Northern, didn't we? Because they had dinner there, and
yes, yeah.
But we're still not aware of the state of Sylvia and Ben's marriage, for example. It has been 25 years, and Benjamin Horne was quite the cad in his earlier years. So,
almost being the cad again.
Almost, but not quite. But we'll get there in a little while. Instead, let's make our first visit with Betty Briggs, the Major's widow.
I just have to say those things so you know that I watched the episode, Gabe.
I know. I know you're paying attention. I know you're making the important connections. You're not just going through the motions. You're doing the work. But anyway, Betty Briggs is the Major's widow and Bobby's mother. This is our first time seeing her since we've returned to town 25 years later.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
She's desperate for company, it may seem. She's sitting in her dining room working on her MacBook, probably sharing a dumb meme to Facebook, given her age, when she's happily surprised to see her son Bobby drop in. Unfortunately, he's not there for a social visit. He's there on police business, bringing the sheriff and Hawk with him. The fellas are there to ask about that fateful last meeting between Briggs and Cooper 25 years ago, and Betty seems to have been expecting this conversation for a while. In fact, the Major seems to have predicted it himself, immediately following Cooper's visit to the home on that fateful day. I said fateful twice. Damn it. This is one of my favorite parts of the episode. Betty dramatically tells the men, "Come with me," and walks exactly 3 steps to a chair in the living room. I paused it and I had to stop and just like laugh out loud.
Wait. I mean, you're forgetting the greatest part. She offers her son coffee, then she offers coffee. Then she offers.
Yeah. They're like, no, no coffee.
That's the gag.
All right.
We gotta go with the gag.
Yeah, there is the coffee gag. I didn't mention that, and I left that one for you to see if it cemented the scene for you.
It cemented it for me.
So yeah, Betty dramatically walks 3 steps into the living room to an armchair with a hidden compartment in the back where she has stashed the object that Garland had instructed her to give them on that fateful night 25 years ago. It's a small metal tube.
She hands it.
Little anticlimactic there.
And then she says, "You guys want some coffee?" And they're all like, "Yes!"
Oh, well, she does, and I don't mention this here, which is remiss of me, but she makes that big speech about how
Bobby, the
maid saw like the good future for Bobby and which remember we got a little piece of that in the original series when Bobby and the Major had that conversation at the diner.
Sure.
And so it's something that Bobby's known all along, but it's an emotional tether to the original series that helps keep these parts of the series grounded a little bit.
And then instantly diffused by, now do you guys want some coffee? And they're all like, yes, smiley happy face.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck, you guys?
Oh,
what the fuck?
This is tense. We know this is important and we know this is tense, but all right, yeah. Now let's, gossip about Shelley's kid and her drug addict husband or whatever, Oh no, sorry, that's Bobby's kid too. Better not gossip about Becky. Hell, that's Betty's granddaughter. Yeah. So maybe they're not going to gossip. Maybe they're just going to worry about her.
Drink coffee. They're just going
to
stare at each other.
Hawk will have some wise parable that he shares, and Truman will just remain very quiet and nod and say, that's very true. And I think I agree, but he'll offer absolutely nothing to the conversation.
Actually, the whole time they talked about sick Truman. They gave all this really detailed information about sick Truman, and they just don't let us in on it.
Yeah. Yep. all about Harry and whatever version of cancer is ravaging his poor old body.
And it's not actually cancer. It's what's her name in the wood?
That's Josie.
It's Josie. She's just like
he's got a succubus
cancer.
Infestation.
Yeah. But we don't learn about that because we had to cut it for time.
Yep. We had to make room for the Fuscos talking about their tail light long distance in the parking lot.
We could have had it. Oh
well. Gordon and the gang have arrived in Buckhorn, where they greet Knox and Mackley in the waiting room at the morgue. Diane opts not to join the viewing of the body and rudely refutes Detective Mackley's enforcement of the no smoking policy. I thought you might have enjoyed this scene. I like Laura Dern in this bit.
She's fine. It's fun.
Caustic Diane is amusing.
I like how when they exit the room and David Lynch just stares at her as he walks away.
It's kind of funny. He gives her that kind of look, that knowing look. Yeah. Yeah. You get like, that's
Listen,
real.
There's great things in this. I'm not saying there's not great scenes in this. I just feel like
they're overshadowed by the useless stuff.
Yeah, it just could be.
They'd be more impactful if they weren't islands in the ocean.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get it.
This is why he works better when he's.
But
in his 2.5 hours,
like a 6.5 hour version of the Batman, I would totally watch it.
Sure, but I think what is this? 18 hours?
Yeah, but it's more than a movie.
I know it's more than a movie, but I think you could probably really cut it down and make it like a really impressive thing. I think it could be a really impressive thing. I get it. You just want to do it. You want to send it up.
I kind of get the impression that he knew this was his last hurrah.
Sure, I get it.
This was going to be, there was discussions about a Netflix project, but I think he knew, particularly if this didn't land big, that this was going to be his last chance. He might have done another film. I don't think he would have had trouble to find financing for another film. There's any number of people in Hollywood who would pony up a couple $1 million for a new David Lynch movie.
And Lynch always works within budget, man. He's not like a fucking crazy expensive director.
Well, but remember that he almost walked away over budget concerns for this.
Well, I feel like he could have shot it. I don't even want to get into that.
They saved all kinds of money on fake bellies.
He could have done a complete 10-episode streaming service series, and if he would have condensed, he could have made
it did bring a record number of subscriptions.
It could have, but it isn't hailed as a masterpiece. It's hailed as good David Lynch Twin Peaks.
It received a lot of critical acclaim.
No,
a lot of television critics enjoyed it. I would encourage you to go back and read.
Those people are drunk off their ass.
And we're not.
I'm drunk off my ass, but I'm still not dumb. Anyway.
Anyway. As soon as everyone leaves, Diane immediately checks her phone to see that she's received a text. It reads, "Around the dinner table, the conversation is lively. What the fuck? Diane's got some secrets."
Rapey Coop broke her, and now she's part of his system, and it's sad. Sad.
It is sad. Were you expecting this?
No, I was not expecting it.
It caught you by surprise.
It did. But it's like,
all right.
It's like, once I saw it, it's like, it's not a surprise. It was a surprise to see it, but it's like, yeah, well, he broke her, and that's sad. That sucks. And that's like true. Like a lot of women, when they get broken by evil people, they are part of that evil cycle. Or not just women, both sides can be this.
Yeah,
it's just
victims of abuse in general.
Yeah.
And we know you speak from personal experience in that regard.
So it's just like, great, here we are.
Yeah, so you can recognize what's going on there.
Out of fear, out of whatever, but yeah.
Yeah. So we get a little Sorkin-style walk and talk as Mackley fills in the FBI agents on all the recent developments in the case. We learn a lot of new stuff ourselves here. George, that's Bill and Phyllis's lawyer, was taken into custody for Phyllis's murder. Phyllis is Bill's wife, who was actually shot by Mr. C. Back in episode, part 1? Part 2?
Part 2, I think.
Part 3? I don't know. It was early. We also learned that the day following Phyllis's murder, Hastings' secretary was killed in a car explosion. Presumably the handiwork of Ray after he got those coordinates from her. A lot of stuff tying together now. Constance, the coroner, is waiting by the body, and she gives Lieutenant Knox a cheerful salute as she enters with the rest of the crew. The more I see of her, the more I like her.
She was better in this
Constance
scene.
Is cool. Yeah. She was a little less, she feels more in her element, like more comfortable. And I think it's Knox's presence that does that for her. Like she likes seeing a confident, powerful woman around, and that helps her feel more confident and powerful herself.
I just feel like the dynamic between her and Albert was interesting.
Oh, do you? Well, maybe we'll get to see a little more of that.
Okay. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Foreshadowing. I said maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mackley then adds some more new information. Hastings and Ruth Davenport were researching and blogging about a strange alternate dimension, which they called the Zone. Albert and Constance exchanged some clever quips at Hastings' expense. Was that a real, genuine smile that we saw from Albert? I think there's something going on there. He reads the last blog entry out loud, which states that Hastings and Ruth finally entered the Zone and met someone they referred to as the Major. Gordon and Albert have a brief sidebar where they discuss the age discrepancy of the body.
Wait a second. So this is where they go out into the hallway. Mm-hmm. Let's speak. What does he say? Let's brainstorm loudly or some shit like that. And it's like, why even go out there if you're going to talk loud? What is the point of this?
Everybody, well, like I'm sure everybody can hear what Gordon is saying, but
I know, but it's just
Albert is a little more discreet than that.
Sure, but like it's just like, what is the
Albert
just like talk it, just say it over there and let's move on. Like, why do you have to do a whole nother setup? So it's just
Albert, for all his acerbic wit and everything, he's a lot less animated now. than he was in the original series. And I don't know if that's just. I wonder if Miguel Ferrer was drawing on like his own actual weariness, because he was really sick when he was filming these episodes. Or if it's just like this character they've decided on, like, you know, in the 25 years that Albert has been Cole's number one guy since Cooper disappeared, he's seen some shit. And like, you know, Diane, he's a little more broken now because of it.
You know what's funny? We forgot to mention it on the plane, but there's this fun scene once Diane is awake. And Albert's
I mentioned it in passing. Yeah,
but Albert's like looking at her, and
Fuck
then
you,
like
Albert.
he like goes and turns and goes to sleep. It's just like poor Albert's in a weird. I feel like partially because of Diane, I feel like Albert's slightly emasculated in some of the scenes now, because he used to be such a dominant force.
Yeah,
and now he's not
that
really.
Was his spot.
Yeah. You know,
but now. Yeah, now we see him worrying about Cooper.
Right.
Now he see him upset because he knows he fucked up giving the coordinates to Jeffries. So yeah, Albert is way different in this series, and I think it's something that people don't give enough credit to. Like this is a really soulful performance from Miguel Ferrer, and it was one of his last. And yeah,
but like in this scene with the cadaver, with the, you know, I feel like there's certain moments where he's just he has this kind of like wily look in him, just like he's in
he's got
the old
he's in his element.
The old
here.
Albert's there.
Yeah, like when is what's going to happen in season 2?
I hope he gets his. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I hope he gets a scene, like something that is of Albert content. I don't know if we're gonna get that, but I'm hoping for some, like he gets something that's like a substantial Albert scene. But
like the big speech he gave to Truman in the original series.
Just something.
I don't know that we get anything of that gravity. I think we've seen some of his best stuff in the series already so far.
Oh, that's too bad.
But again, like I'm saying, he's different. He's a lot wearier than he was.
It'd be nice to like give him like kind of a.
Because how old do you think Albert was in the OG series? You know?
I know, but
give him perspective. He was late 20s, early 30s.
It's like I feel like
it does matter. It makes a big difference in how you look at the world.
I think if you're David Lynch and you're like doing you're giving all this time, I think you want to give your characters a cool send off. Not just Coop or whoever. You want to give all of them. And I think like, you know, I mean, honestly, I probably would have killed off Albert, but I would have given him like a cool way to die. I would have given him like some badass way to like, it's like, don't worry about it, bro. I got you. Or
falling on his sword.
Yeah, I don't know. Just something like fucking honorable and shit. Like he deserves that. That's what that kind of character. Like, if I look back at the OG series, you know, I'm not a huge fan of Twin Peaks, but like there's characters I liked. I really like Albert as a character. I liked him in the OG series, and I feel like in this series he does feel a little bit like defeated and like broken, and it's like you should give him something at the end that like kind of builds him up and gives him that kind of legendary status. If we don't get that, that's fine. I get it. That's whatever. This show's going to be what it is, but it's like that's what I would have done for this character, because I feel like there is a great level of fan love for the character, and I feel like that would have been a cool thing to do for it, him or the character or whatever. So that's what I think.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that it's not going to happen, but like
we may get some substance for him, but yeah, probably not of the
level that I want,
of the gravity that you're hoping for. Yeah,
but that's
unfortunately,
that's kind of the stuff you want. You know, you kind of want
it is. And we get some of it.
I don't know. I look at all the great series that I love and all these like side characters that I love. Like when I look at, I know you haven't seen Battlestar Galactica all the way through, but there's like Colonel Ty was a character I fucking hated in the beginning of the series. I could not get behind the character. And as I watched that series, that character slowly won me over. And then at the end of that series, like the way he goes out is like, holy fuck yes, like this is my boy, and he just fucking.
I feel
like that's what
I feel kind of the same way about Amos in The Expanse.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. And yes,
Yeah, like
Amos
I have a
like,
love-hate relationship with Amos.
well,
like
I like
you're never
Amos.
sure.
Amos in the beginning was kind of, but like in the kind of the middle part, like Amos is a badass mother. He's like a bulldog. It's like fuck yeah, and then they kind of sidelined him for a little while, and then they brought him back. And it's like fuck yeah.
Don't spoil too much for me because I have only finished season 2. So
you already like Amos. Yeah, Amos is awesome for a while, and then they kind of just sidelined him for a while in a season. So you're kind of like, what's the fuck's going on?
Well,
but then he comes back strong though. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So.
But yeah, 100%, dude. Oh, season 2, you have the best parts to go.
Yeah, I've got.
But yes, 100%.
Yeah, watching
100% that, and I think Albert's that character for me in this show. Like I wish he would have. Unfortunately, whatever. Okay, but. Like
a lot of people definitely point to Albert as their favorite.
It would have been an awesome
character,
like have some kind of hero moment, even if he wasn't the ultimate hero. But to have a hero moment would have been awesome. Anyway,
well,
we'll see.
We'll see what you think of what he gets to do for the rest of the series.
I feel like they're going to get Diane. I feel like Diane is that character here in this series. Am I wrong?
Hey, it's tough to say
because she has obviously something that has to be redeemed herself, or whatever negative Coop did to her. I feel like that's the kind of.
Oh, it's so hard for me to say.
I know.
Anything
I'm sorry.
Else about
I'll
Diane
stop talking. Let's just break down the finish breaking down the episode.
Yeah, I hesitate to say.
That's fine.
I really feel like it'd be easy for me to give stuff away if I tried. So.
But I'm on the
we'll just leave it where it is.
What you're saying.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that there's.
I know, that's fine.
There are some unexpected players.
Okay, all right.
That you wouldn't think are important later on, but they are.
It was Lucy and Andy all along. No, they were the worst. They were raping left and right. Anyway, okay.
Right? Yeah. Bob possessed Lucy after he...
okay.
Where did we leave off? Albert smiles. Albert's reading a blog entry. Oh, yeah. Sidebar in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gordon is freaked out by the age discrepancy. Which, not the first time that's been brought up. Freaked out Knox, too.
Right.
Gordon also points out the not-so-coincidental fact that the body and Cooper are turning up at the same time in the same general place. When they return to the room, Constance shows them Dougie's wedding ring, which, let's not forget, was found in the Major's stomach. And Cole decides it's time for them to go talk to poor old blubbering Bill. But first... a brief interlude in the forest, where Jerry Horn is high as fuck.
How many episodes now? 2 episodes since we saw him last?
Maybe 3.
And he's still there, high as fuck.
I mean, this could be like another day. Like he could have found his way home and then gone back out and gotten high again. It's been known to happen.
Can I say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
So because of the way that the Au revoir band plays, it makes me think that this episode takes place during the same time as the last episode, because they're wearing the same clothes and the same performance, and so like perhaps it's the same. This is all happening. This is the weird thing about this.
Or they're just hanging out in town for a week
in the same clothes. Performance wise, like as a band,
well,
I'm always performing it, especially women. Women always wear the same clothes 3 days later. So like there's like, anyway, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. No. I had the same thought about there might be like timelines being played around with, and I will point out the specific areas to you later, because they do like mention some definite dates later on.
They do in this episode too. Yes,
they do. So we'll get back to that thought later.
So then what the fuck is with the band? Like, that's weird. Anyway, okay.
Well, and they managed to switch out that set real quick too, didn't they? We'll get to that at the end. Yeah, okay. Jerry Horn is high as a kite, terrified of his right foot, which is speaking to him, and eventually freaks him out enough to where he attacks it.
I don't care about any of this. Like, what is the point of this?
You didn't even laugh just a little bit? The point of this is comic relief. I think that's fairly obvious.
It's not. I mean, I don't find it that funny. I mean, I don't know. Nah. I mean, I didn't laugh. No.
I like David Patrick Kelly, and I wish we got more for him to work with besides this. But I was amused by it. I think it was fun to watch.
I know you were.
This again. This is like you're saying. This is a scenery chewing scene, 100%.
But here's the problem: like if he was an important character doing something important, and then he like got high, and then like he was fucking around, like it's more fun because it's part of it. This has nothing to do with anything, and it's just like you're just sending me out here for like what 5 minutes, like 3 minutes. I don't know. We're out here doing this. I'm literally sitting here like, are we seriously? Is this seriously what we're doing right now? Like, I don't know. And then the fact that they teased it so early on, and then it's thrown away, and now he's still fucking high. Like,
right. So is this 10 minutes later, or is this 2 days later? Is Au Revoir Simone playing right now?
I don't know exactly. At least they played that night, maybe. I don't know. I'm just like more in my head. I'm just like, what is the point of this? And my understanding is there is no point to this.
It's comic relief, like I said.
It's not comic relief.
It's not your fault that you have no sense of humor.
That's
no. It's not David Lynch's fault you have no sense of humor.
No, it's David Lynch's fault that he has no sense of comedy. Anyway. Jesus. I have a sense of humor. This was not funny. This was not funny.
This would have been hilarious if it had happened on My Three Sons.
Jesus Christ.
It's lunchtime at the sheriff's station.
Oh my God.
Lucy is chomping down on a big sandwich at her desk, and
more comic
Chad
relief.
The slob.
Let's follow comic relief with comic relief.
Chad the slob has his spread out all over the conference table.
I actually feel bad for Chad here.
You won't later.
That's fine, but I feel bad for him here.
Why?
He's just enjoying his lunch, and then everyone's a dick to him.
Because they've told him repeatedly he's not allowed to eat lunch in the conference room.
That's fine, but then they're all dicks to him, like, and they won't even get the door. Like, Hawk reluctantly gets the door for him, like, okay,
because he
asshole. Like,
Hawk totally would have opened the door for him if he'd have used the word please.
Oh my God.
Which he doesn't do.
Oh my God.
He's a fucking prick about it.
Honestly, if I'm a good human being, he wouldn't even have to have said it. I would have opened it for him. Like, it's so fucking, like, it's just like an awkward, difficult scene to watch. Like, it is dumb.
I get the feeling that Chad has made his own bed.
I don't care. It doesn't mean you have to be an asshole to somebody.
Are you forgetting that he's crooked?
That's fine that he's crooked. I don't really give a shit. Like, it's still, like, what the fuck? Then why not just fire him? Get a new fucking police. He's crooked. Everyone is just going to treat him like shit, so he does shit work for you? Then fire him. Or be nice to him and, like, I find this.
You are literally the only person.
I find this whole sequence in this.
I
find this whole sequence in this episode. Not only to mention that, like, the joke where, like, they walk in the thing and it's like, they I'm on lunch. Don't talk to me. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, how long have you been working there, Lucy? Like, what a fucking dumbass. That's a dumb joke.
Lucy also doesn't understand cell phones, remember?
Oh my God. I just, like, all of this, like, how did Twin Peaks get so dumb? Like, how did we go away for like 20 years and Twin Peaks became retarded? Like, I'm sorry to use the royal R word, but, like, it is bad. Like, how did this city in supposed libtard Pacific Northwest
Is it the lack
get
of smooth
so
jazz
stupid?
that makes it seem dumber?
I don't know. It's just like, how are we really? Is that how David Lynch sees us? Like, we're that stupid? Like,
well, look, we just had this conversation
I find this
about
all
Andy
appalling.
and Lucy being
I find this all appalling.
analogs for members of his family.
That's
right?
fine, but then but now I started to think like he starts to see us all as this way though. Like, I get the cute scene,
projecting a little bit,
but then he starts. That's what I'm saying. I feel like there's becomes like this, like, I'm sorry, Mr. Hollywood, New York, fucking busy motherfucker. Everyone sees us as fucking asshole. Like, whatever, dude. I don't know. There's I despise that scene. I don't like this conference room scene, which is also pointless. Ultimately pointless. Like, there's no reason for us to even go in there. Ultimately,
other than for Bobby to mess with them, yeah. I'll give you that.
I have a lot of issues with all of this anyway. So, but talk it through. I apologize. I didn't mean to like derail you. I love this show, Gabe. This is my favorite.
I will never cease to give you shit for seeing Chad as a sympathetic character. That's bullshit.
I don't think, but there's no reason not to be nice to him here. He's not, okay, that's fine. He's a shit character, but at this moment, there's nothing really shitty he's doing. I have never, okay, up until this point, I had no idea he wasn't allowed to eat in there. Until just that moment, I didn't realize it was such a big deal. So it's like, if out throughout like we're at like what is this, episode 8, 9, whatever.
9.
If they had like in those moments said, "Hey, Chad, stop fucking eating in that conference room," then I would get it. I would get it. But the fact that they just drop it there and like, we keep telling you, I was like, but you guys are eating coffee and donuts here. I actually agree with that. You guys eating fucking coffee and donuts in here, and he can't even fuck his lunch. I'm 100% behind that. Like, what? Like, I 100%. Like, I get he's Chad, and I get he's a bad guy, but like, I agree. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, I did not take him as a bad guy here. I took him as like a victim. Like, and then everyone's a dick to him. Like, it's just like, okay. Everyone just looks at him.
So when he was making fun of Truman's son who committed suicide.
Sure. Awful. Yes, I get it.
That wasn't enough of a red flag for you to think that maybe Chad is not a good person. Maybe Chad is not deserving of anyone's sympathy.
But they keep hiring him to work the job. So like, you couldn't
Fair
say,
enough.
hey, oh, this is like something that could be penalized. No, we're going to keep hiring him on. We don't have enough. They had like 20 cops in that back fucking CIS room back there. Like, why is Chad have to
at a place where people have been kept on for many, many years longer than they should have been? For reasons that are completely unfathomable to me.
That doesn't
seem like a situation that is all that unusual.
I don't get the Twin Peaks police headquarters right now. Anyway, like, we have way more cops than they need, and Bobby is like, why is Chad even a cop? I don't know, man. I feel like it's all just for bullshit. It's all like it's for naught. It's just like.
Anyway, let's at least get out of it what this is for, which is for the sheriff and Hawk to puzzle over how to open the metal tube after they have to crack a window because of Chad's stinky-ass lunch. What a douche. They notice Bobby smiling at them. Apparently, he's known all along how to open it, as his dad at one point showed him when he was younger. Bobby takes them back outside, where he spikes the metal tube on the ground, and then holds it up to the Hawk and the sheriff's ears so they can hear the humming from the vibration. Bobby continues to listen to it until he hears a click, and then he spikes it down on the ground again, and voila! The tube opens to reveal 2 very small scraps of paper rolled up very tightly. The top piece of paper has a drawing of two peaks. Above the left one is a red circle, the sun, a blood moon, not sure. Above the right is a red crescent, and the same symbol that Mr. C had on that ace that he showed to Daria right before he blew her brains out. It also contains the instructions 253 yards east of Jackrabbit's Palace. Before leaving Jackrabbit's Palace, put some soil from that area in your pocket. It also has a time of 2:53. And was that right, or was it a different time?
I thought it was 2:35, but
Yeah.
And then
I could be wrong.
And then 2 dates.
That doesn't look right to me.
2:35.
But I want to say,
I think it's 2:35.
Because I want to say one of those two is the same number that the giant told Cooper in episode 1.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was a 2. I just think it was a 3.
Yeah, it was either 253 or 235. But
and then
anyway,
10-1
the dates on
10-2.
the dates on the slip are October 1st and October 2nd, which Frank points out is 2 days from now and the day after, which would put the date at September 29th. Once again, Bobby is the key to unlocking this mystery. Jackrabbit's Palace was a special place in the forest near his father's workstation where they would play together when he was a kid.
I thought it was funny.
Aww.
I thought it was funny that like Truman pulls the notes out, but he's looking at it as if there's only one note, and then he's like, "Oh, there's another one."
Right. Yeah.
It's like
it's not obvious at all that there's two pieces of paper.
Oh, what's this?
Yeah. Oh, lo and behold. If this second slip of paper looks familiar to you, it's good. It's the same one that Major Briggs showed Agent Cooper back during the Palmer murder case,
But it was a big one
before he went into the lodge.
It was a big printout. But yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the same one. The scrap contains a section where Cooper's name shows up twice side by side, which Huck understands to mean 2 Coopers. They're catching up to us, folks, slowly but surely.
I mean, no. They vocalized 2 Coopers. It doesn't mean they believe there's 2 Coopers.
No, Hawk's been onto this already because they read the page from Laura's diary where it
You say that.
gives Annie's... I do say that because he actually said it out loud.
You say that.
Where if Annie says the good Cooper is trapped in the lodge and can't get out, then who's the Cooper that did come out of the lodge?
Okay.
So Hawk understands what's going on.
No, we're gonna need an episode where he like has to really come to terms with that. I feel like.
Well, want in one hand and shit in the other. Break time, folks.
What?
Uncle G's gonna fix himself another drink.
Oh
Ian,
my
go
God.
piss. You know you need to.
I don't have to pay, actually. We'll talk about how incompetent Gabe is at his job, ladies and gentlemen. He should
Wait,
just
the
have
hitman job? No,
he
wait,
should,
that's
he
a
should
joke,
just have
everybody.
he should just have his mixing.
Gabe was totally not a hitman.
He should just have his mixology right in front of him, so he can just mix a drink whenever he wants to in front of him while we're
You know,
doing
the
this
last
episode.
time I tried mixing a double before the episode, I got way too drunk, so I'm not doing that
I
anymore.
mean, every episode you get way too drunk. I don't know.
No, I get too drunk after the episode.
Oh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, now you fill time. You see how it feels. At least I'm still on the mic.
This is this show has been an experience as I try to sit through it every week. I should say this. So I was watching it on Showtime through Paramount Plus, but my wife and I are trying really hard to stop supporting the big corporations. So we're gonna kill Amazon Prime, we're gonna kill Paramount Plus, and then obviously Showtime, of which Twin Peaks: The Return is on. Thankfully, my cousin has a large server that I'm a participant in, and all the episodes are available there. So I've started watching the episodes there. So I've already killed Apple. We're gonna kill some. We're just trying to move away from all of it, from all of the services, except the
Good for you, dude.
except for the video game ones, because I'm a nerd. But yeah, we're gonna move away from. We're stopping Amazon Prime and Netflix and Hulu and Disney and Apple, and so
you've got a lot more conviction than me at this point. I won't lie.
Well, I have the
I
ability.
still feel very tethered to a lot of those.
I have the ability to do that, and Bryn was like, "Do you think we could do it?" And I installed Plex. If you guys know what Plex is, I installed Plex on her PlayStation 4, and I have a friend who has a server that is an abundance of content, and so and he keeps it up to date pretty regularly, so we're going to move forward and stop supporting these big corporations. And actually, it's wild because
it's a pirate's life for Ian.
Yeah, but also what's wild about this, it's going to be like some $100 or something in savings. It's actually a wild amount of money too. It's just like
you're gonna need it.
Well, with all the tariffs and shit, I mean, yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna need it. I don't know. I don't know what I need to buy. I don't eat eggs. Yeah. I don't need to buy a new console. I'm not planning to buy a new console. I don't know if you saw everyone who saw that fucking Nintendo Switch thing today, but I ain't buying a fucking Nintendo Switch for $450.
I have no desire for a Switch.
But I did just buy Bryn a new. I bought her a PS5, the Astrobot bundle for $399. That was pretty cool. I thought that was a good deal.
That's a good deal.
But yeah, I don't know. But all I'm saying is, canceling all these services, I still have the ability to watch Twin Peaks, so it will not hinder. I made sure that it would not hinder the remainder of this podcast. So,
I'm very proud of you for that.
Yeah, because I would have kept sucking the corporate dick just for you, Gabe.
Just for me. I mean, if you were willing to drive down here, I have the other DVD set that you could borrow of it.
Oh, that's all right. But that means I'd have.
I'm not using. Yeah, that means you have to buy gas from the evil corporate overlords.
Well, that also means I have to. Well, is it? It's not. It's just Blu-ray. It's not like a basic. It's not like a.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it's
not like
no.
HD.
And even
I don't have a 4K
your
Blu-ray.
Standard. No, you don't need it. It's the standard 1080.
Anyway, I'm good to go. I'm good.
Okay. So back in Buckhorn, Diane has actually decided to go outside.
Oh, this is
to smoke.
Here we go. Romantic smoking scene. Take 2.
Yeah.
Action.
Take 2. I think this is like take 5 or 8. Anyway, she's cute. Less than 2 feet away from the door.
You gotta ruin it every time, man.
I was being you for that one.
Indeed. I didn't believe it, Lynch. You didn't look hungry enough.
He looked pretty hungry. But yeah, he just had one after the take was done.
I love this scene a lot. Here's a shitty thing about this. I love this scene a lot. It also is incredibly unnecessary.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, the first time I watched this series, this felt like one of the most pointless scenes to me. This one was right up there with sweeping the roadhouse and Green Onions,
I love.
It was just what the fuck?
I love Lynch's his eye line on her and the cigarette, and every time she looks at him, he looks away, kind of.
Yeah.
And then she kind of looks away, and he looks back at her and looks at the cigarette.
Yeah.
It's just for a while I was like, what's going on here? And then oh my God. No. And then it happened. And I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. This is what kills this motherfucker. And that's literally what this scene is about. This scene, you should just take this scene and then this is what? Anyway, it's wild. It's a wild scene. It's...
It was, I see it more fondly now than I did then. It felt silly to me, and honestly, the
It is
first time I
still
watched
silly.
it, I spent more time watching Tammy's reactions than I did
She
watching
plays it
Gordon.
not good. I wish she wasn't in the scene
Yeah,
because she's like way over the top.
yeah, she's a little extra awkward,
Like she's his
and then
girlfriend or
like
something. Like they're
right
gonna
because
have
like
sex
she
or
even
something.
tries to admonish him
Are they
when he
gonna have
takes a
sex?
drag. She's like Gordon, like he's doing something naughty,
Anyway, yeah, I
or like
wish
she's in charge of.
like she should have come out later or something and been like just appalled or upset.
Yeah, to call him back in, like, or Albert's found something.
Yeah, like her standing there the entire time. But I think it's better like him and her, like just him and Diane's. Like, there's something about that. Like, I think that would have worked better. Anyway.
Yeah, I won't disagree with you there. But yeah, it's the recap here is they're less than 2 feet away from the door, so what difference does it make? Gordon and Tammy join her on the stoop while Albert works on the body, and after a long, awkward pause, oh, this was the other thing, is that he didn't even say anything. He just like wordlessly reached out with his hand, like with the two fingers
Oh
apart,
yeah,
like
she
this.
knew exactly.
And
Like yeah,
yeah,
like she had the finger, like she had the cigarette,
yeah.
and then he just kind of reaches out and she kind
He
of gives it to him, and it's
underscored
like,
it, but he
yeah,
does just take a single drag from it. And then he reminisces about the times where they used to smoke together. Diane offers him the rest, but he declines. In the interrogation room, a handcuffed Bill Hastings sobs heavily while the law enforcement team watches from behind the two-way mirror.
okay. So at first I thought like, oh my god, he's really over the top right now. That's kind of what I thought initially going into this scene. Like, oh my god, like he hasn't been like this. So like I don't know
Oh,
why
he
he's
totally was.
nah, not this bad.
He
He's been
not quite
upset,
this
but
bad.
like he's like
Yeah.
hysterical right now, and I was
But
like,
remember, that was like this is the first time we're
yeah,
seeing him after his
sure,
wife was murdered.
sure.
So there's that too.
I get it, but I was like, we haven't really
Presumably by
seen it.
his lawyer who was going to get him out of this mess.
I know, Gabe.
So he's twice as fucked.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, he hasn't.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him in a while, and we haven't seen him this hysterical. So at first, I was just like, oh my god, what the fuck? You know, I thought he was gonna be, but holy shit, does this scene play out? So
Yeah, it does. Gordon sends Tammy in for the questioning. She's probably the least threatening person to do so. But her presence does little to calm Bill. However, he does answer her questions truthfully and without much hesitation. He tells her that Ruth was the one who was good at uncovering hidden records, and she found evidence that if they made their way to a specific set of coordinates at a specific time, they would be able to enter this alternate dimension. He says this is where they found the Major, who told them that he was, quote, hibernating and worried that other people might find him there. The Major asked for their help to find another set of coordinates, which were in a secure military database. The coordinates were then written on Ruth's hand. He says they returned to deliver the coordinates to the Major, but were attacked by other people who demanded to know his wife's name. Bill correctly identifies Major Briggs from a collection of photos and signs his name and the date next to it, September 29th. So this is happening on the same day that Bobby is spiking a metal tube on the concrete. The first time I watched this for a recap, I thought that Hastings had written 920. And I took note of that, and I'm like, oh shit, they're spacing the timing out. So I looked a little closer the second watch through. No, he writes 929. So same day. Blue. Tammy then tries to get Bill to explain exactly what happened in the zone. He claims what he saw was the Major floating up into the air, saying Cooper's name twice before his head disappeared. He says it was beautiful, but then it was awful because Ruth was dead in his arms. He doesn't mention how. He just says that there were so many people there and that he eventually woke up in his own bed. He then completely breaks down in hysterics, sobbing about the plans for the future that he and Ruth had made together. Yeah, and yeah, like we said at the beginning of this episode, this is probably the best piece of acting that we see in this episode, maybe in the
The whole
series so
series,
far.
like at first, like I said, like I was kind of like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. But as it grows and he keeps just going, and like you just kind of buy into the fact, like I get, he's at his end. He's like he's fucked. He's just like desperation.
He's in the biggest trouble of his life, and he's just regressing into a childlike state.
It's wild. I don't even think it's childlike. It's just like I think you're just like you're at the end. You're like, I don't know. I don't I have no, like, I know what I saw. No one's gonna believe me. How do I even explain this? And I'm just emotionally wrecked. And Matthew. Here's the thing: Matthew Lillard is not the guy you think of when you think of like great acting. You look at like all this kind of a lot of the shit he's been in. It's just kind of these kind of comedic performances. But this performance, like I know you were saying it earlier in the show, like, oh, he's great. He's great. I was like, hey, he's fine. He's doing his thing. It's fine. Blah blah blah. But here, like, I finally connected it. Like, it was finally like, yes, I agree that he's like. He's tapping into something. He's really, really doing it. And it's like, I think this is better than this show deserves right now, honestly. Like, kind of what this... Not, I should say that. I don't think it's what this... It's not better than what... I just think there's a... I think there's a great show. I think there's a masterpiece show in these 18 episodes that is more like a 10-episode thing. I think there is something brilliant in here that is just, it's grandiose. So it's
like a wash and a lot of extraneous material.
Yes, but I think there is something that if like a really good editor, or even Dwayne Dunham, he's a good editor. I think if he really didn't have to deal with all the kind of, he could cut it down into a piece that I think we would watch and we'd be like, holy fuck, this is next level. And I think this performance demands that. I think like a lot of like it's like one of the greatest Lynch performances. Definitely,
and they do
Twin Peaks
they give him a lot of time here, and Tammy is a good counterbalance for him. Like she is calm and measured in this scene, like not over the top. She's just she's a stabilizing presence, and it's This really rescues the episode for me because this episode was kind of like, man, okay, but this is because
like,
so much of the exposition we get is so dispassionate and just so matter of fact. It's delivered, but without a lot of emotion behind it, because a lot of it is just confirmation of stuff that we've already like emotionally reached a conclusion of.
There's also something else that I want to touch on with this. It cuts back to him a couple times, and then at the end, so it cuts back to Albert a couple times, and he is dark and sickly looking, and his eyes are dark and beady, and kind of like there's a little twinkle, like. But at the end, he says like, "Fruitcake, anyone?" Like, where that is kind of a classic Albert line. I don't think that's where Albert's at right now. So I found the line a little disingenuous.
It felt forced, yeah.
But it's also like, that's kind of a classic Albert line, but I feel like Albert believes him. So I don't...
Yeah.
It's a conflicted line, so like I don't...
Yeah.
There's some weird shit.
Tell he felt... Because like we established, he's a follower of Gandhi, and probably... Knowing Lynch, they would write into the script that Albert practices transcendental meditation or something along those lines. But yeah, it's you like he feels genuinely bad for the guy, but because he knows it's expected of him, he has to say something shitty.
Thing. Right.
Yeah.
There's like I guess Lynch isn't really always that director, but I was like, man, these are the themes I wish he would have like. Instead of like letting all his friends just do it all, like I wish he would have focused on certain things a bit more. Like Lynch focus would have been really cool in some of this stuff. I think that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see this scene run as long as it does, and to see, like he gives it time to breathe. And
but Lillard, man, holy fuck,
we learn.
Man. Holy fuck.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. I just want to go. Like your heart breaks for him. I want to go scuba diving. Starts off with a little innocent adultery and conspiracy theories, and now he's completely fucked. Some quick shots of the misty forest,
or is
then that famous. Maybe.
I don't know.
We do have a lot of series left to watch. This is just the halfway point, folks. We also get that famous exterior of the Great Northern perched right above the waterfall at night, while that familiar haunting theme plays in the background. We haven't heard much of that song during the new series.
And then what's this about? Like, what is all this about?
It's pretty obvious.
Is it?
I feel like it is. So in Ben Horn's office, he and Beverly are continuing to play Find That Sound as they correctly identify a specific corner of the room where the humming/ringing noise appears to be the loudest.
Is this the Beverly entrance to the lodge? But actually the entrance to the lodge? Is that what's going on
I think we may have mentioned the last time they were doing this is that the prevailing theory amongst fandom is that this is Josie's spirit trapped in the walls.
I think, yes, you did. We did bring that up. Yes, you did bring that up.
Because Lynch has that inextricable link between electricity and the soul. Like, that's a big theme of his work, which, there's even a touch of scientific basis behind that. So
is her face going to show up in a knob or something?
Nope.
No.
As we established a while ago, Joan Chen is not in the series, and as we mentioned at the top of the episode, even if your face shows up, you'll get credit for it.
You can make it a different Asian girl. They all look the same. Oh!
Yeesh. All right, let's move on from that flagrant racism to Ben Horn turning over a new leaf.
I'm part Asian. I can't. Come on.
You can get away with it, right?
Probably not, but...
Probably not. Because you don't look like most Asian men I've met. But that's neither here nor there, is it?
Are you saying... What are you saying, Gabe?
I'm saying that the last half Asian guy I knew looked like he was from Japan.
Okay.
But he was half.
I said I was part Asian, not half.
Oh.
I'm like Chinese, Filipino, Vietnamese, and then Hawaiian. I got a lot of Asian in me.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the case with Will. He was full on half Japanese.
Oh no.
We used to call him rice cracker.
Totally not racist. All right, can carry on.
He loved.
Of course he did. All Asians love being called rice cracker.
Will ended up writing jokes for Dave Chappelle later on.
That's fine. I'm just saying.
So, no, he was okay. Maybe he didn't love it.
He loved it.
Probably didn't love it.
He loved it.
He was white
when we slapped our fucking. Never mind. I'm not going to go here.
No, right. Will was white enough to appreciate those sorts of things.
Cool. Okay.
In the 90s,
In the 90s. There was no racism in the 90s. It was perfect time.
Oh, no. There was plenty of racism in the 90s. We just thought it was funny that it was still around.
You're right. Now it's so much more nowadays. Anyway.
No, we're just not as amused by it anymore.
Racism used to be funny, guys. Now it's just...
Yeah, used to be a big old joke.
What are we even talking about? All right. I'm trying to move us forward.
I know, but I do want to say that there is precedent for using comedy to approach very serious subjects.
Yes. This is 100% true.
If it weren't for Hannibal Buress's stand-up material, Bill Cosby would have never gone to prison.
There you go.
That all came from a joke, you know? Jokes get people thinking.
I'm technically Hawaiian.
The best kind of jokes get people thinking.
But I think Hawaiian pizza is the worst thing on the face of the planet. I think it's fucking cultural appropriation. No one believes me. I'm okay if you call it ham with pineapple.
Should it be Spam instead?
No. See, exactly. That's racist as fuck. What I'm saying is the Hawaiian pizza, as Hawaiian pizza is known, was not created by Hawaiians. It was created by a Canadian who went to Hawaii. Like
French fries are Belgian.
He literally went to Hawaii and then he appropriated that culture and went back to Canada and created a pizza called the Hawaiian pizza. Now, if you call it,
which he probably just called Hawaiian inspired.
Now, if you call it Canadian bacon and pineapple, I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you call it that. But if you call it a Hawaiian pizza, that is 100% cultural appropriation because we don't call it that. Hawaiians don't call it that. Anyway.
Did you ever see the South Park episode where they talk about so it's all these white people who have vacationed in Hawaii for generations, but they think of themselves as native Hawaiians?
No.
Oh, I think you would enjoy that one.
Probably. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not native. I'm Hawaiian, but I'm not native Hawaiian anymore. So what see, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like a fish out of water. I'm not a Hawaiian. I am Hawaiian, but I'm not a Hawaiian. You know? My wife is more Hawaiian. She grew up there. She's like
fascinating.
She's 3/4 Japanese, but she's not Hawaiian. You know?
Oh.
Anyway, sorry. What are we talking about here on Twin Peaks?
Do you lose her in a crowd in Japan or what?
Oh, she looks a little bit. Her mom looks way more Japanese. I mean, her mom's half Japanese, so she looks pretty Japanese, whereas Bryn has it. But it's not as bad.
I think there's a lot more broadness to facial features in Japan than most people realize.
Right. I mean, yeah, but Bryn's mom is very Japanese looking.
Gotcha.
But Bryn looks a lot like her mom, so it's funny.
Bryn does kind of have those geisha features.
Yeah.
Like the features that Japanese women aspire to and emphasize with the makeup.
She definitely has the long black hair.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we should get back on
the
peaks.
Yeah, we're way off track.
Twins.
Yeah, because we're almost done here. We're about ready to wrap up.
Are we?
We are. Beverly takes the opportunity to finally make a pass at Old Man Horn, but Ben gently rebuffs her. He says he doesn't get why.
He's a good man. You're a good man, Ben Horn.
Well, yeah.
And I'm like,
chagrined.
Is he a good
man? I mean, the look on his face would seem to indicate that he can't really accept that compliment because he knows what he's done in the past. We do see this struggle in Ben. Like he is genuinely trying to be a good person.
He fucked his daughter.
That'll change a man. Did he ever find out that it was her? I don't think he did he? No, he never did.
I don't think she ever said, I was there. You were gonna fuck me. I don't think she ever did that.
She did, yeah.
Did she? Maybe she did.
Yeah. There is that one scene where she confronts him and she says something about Queen of Hearts and you see the look on his face, yeah.
Yep. We almost inbred. It would have been gross.
But it was still part of his arc. Like even when he was talking to John Justice Wheeler about trying to be a good man and give me advice on how to be a good man.
What a pivot!
And this is the
pivot.
Right. This is the advice that Wheeler would have given him.
He can't bother to go. He can't
a married woman wants to fuck me. What do I do?
He can't bother
to
go
fuck
find
her. She's married.
He can't go find his fucking brother out in the woods. Come on, bro. Go save your brother. Jerry needs your help.
He doesn't know where he is. He's lost, dude. And he threw his phone away. What's he going to do? Anyway, here's our last scene of the evening. As we expect, it's at the Roadhouse where DJ Hudson Mohawk is working a set for the crowd while a couple of young women of questionable repute share some beers in one of the booths.
Beers. Yet there was no beer in any of those canisters. But anyway.
No, those were obviously empty.
Just kept drinking it.
The bottle wasn't.
But the can was it's so empty, and she just kept drinking it. It's just like, put some water in that motherfucker. Holy fuck.
Do something, yeah. Anyway, in the credits, the names of the women are given as Chloe, the brunette, and Ella, the blonde.
Dude, the rash thing is driving me nuts, man.
And here's a pointless scene right here.
Is it a pointless scene?
Like, yeah. These women never show up again.
Holy shit. Because that fucking rash thing was like, what the fuck? Are we like breaking out into zombie land here? Because like that thing was aggressive. Like he kept going back to it as if it was important. And I'm like, stop going to that, dude. That is fucking bothering me. That is.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, so I have not had a lot of actual reactions in the Twin Peaks verse so far. In like today.
Like a visceral reaction?
Yes. So this episode had 2. So like
Matthew Lillard.
The Lillard scene was actual at a certain point. I was like, holy fuck, this is actually affecting me. I'm really buying into this. This is affecting me. Like, holy fuck, this performance is impressive. Holy shit, this is great. In this episode that's not so good, it's kind of a mess. This is awesome. I wish Lynch would focus more on this shit. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Positive. Then this fucking chick at the table fucking kept going. I got this crazy rash. It's like, no shit you do. Why are you out and about with this fucking rash? Like, and it's just like, it's just like.
Well, she's also talking about how I got fired. I guess I showed up high. You guess? Yeah, I don't remember.
At the burger place. And I'm now at a new burger place, scratching my rash into the new burgers. And it's just like, bleh, this is just gross. And it's like, and now you're telling me these girls never show up again? It's like, what the fuck is this? What is the point of this? What the fuck? It's just like, I was like, stop. I don't want to see that anymore. I don't want to see this anymore.
It's that dose of reality, I guess. You know?
Yes. But it's like, why not put that into a character that is like, you know what I mean? Like certain reactions, like that's key. That's like
so that could have.
Why is that?
This is a trait you could have given to the
anybody
drug-addled mother in Las Vegas.
Sure.
119 gal.
Well, whatever. Like someone that shows up over and over again, and it's like, and then maybe someone else gets the rash, and you're like, oh fuck, you know. And then, but that's it. Maybe it just plays off at that. But it's like, anyway.
Yeah.
Both these scenes riled, and then you're right. It's funny because like we got the Mohawk guy DJ, and then these girls. Then there's like a set change, and we went back to these other girls. It's like, we already saw these girls.
Nice to get the palette clear. Yeah.
And it's like, but they're also wearing the same clothes that they were. What was it? 4 or 5 weeks ago? No, I actually went. Gabe, I actually did some research. I actually went back to watch their other performance. What's
holy shit!
I actually went back, and it's like they're all wearing the same clothes. I was like actually, because I was like, I honestly started having that thought where it was like, are we time traveling? Is this scene time traveling?
No, they just filmed 2 performances, and
he
spread it out for some reason.
That's fine, but I was like,
no, like they only filmed on one day, and he used it for 2 different episodes.
Sure, but I was like, I wanted to like just maybe they didn't, Gabe. Maybe maybe you're understanding it wrong. All I know is like I was like, this is mainly based off the fact like I thought Gabe said no artists returned. Okay, maybe you didn't say it, maybe you did, or maybe whatever. I don't give a shit about that. But I was like, well, I want to check. I just want to check. So I went back to whatever episode. I looked through the episodes and like looked at the end, and it's like, oh, it's them again. It's not the same song. They are wearing the same fucking thing. And goddamn, is that keyboardist in that black fucking
the redhead
skirt? Redhead is fucking hot. I hope she doesn't get the rash, because I hope she didn't get that rash, because that'd be a waste.
Yes.
Anyway,
I enjoyed watching her perform.
So I did a little bit of research, Gabe. That's my little bit of.
I'm very proud of you, Ian. Anyway. You cared enough to go back, and all it took was a super hot redhead in a tight black dress.
That's a wild scene to because they spend a lot of time on those two to end it, and then never go back to them.
Yeah, and
Is there
I feel
a meth drug episode situation in Twin Peaks or something.
I mean, I don't think it's meant to. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, probably. Isn't there in every town?
Every town, but isn't that?
Isn't there? That's a big theme of Lynch's work.
Is that what this is like?
That's the way I interpret it. Is like, it's just this is part of that dark underbelly that the same kind of scene that Laura was into a little bit. Twin Peaks hasn't changed all that much over the last 25 years. Some of the grandparents have MacBooks in their dining rooms, and the sheriff has a fancy computer that pops up out of his desk.
Here's the problem.
But then you still have these young 20-year-old women getting into drugs, and
here's the problem with all this, though, Gabe.
Living hard lives.
I feel like here's okay. This is true, 100%. I feel like they could have done a low-level murder investigation in Twin Peaks as a parallel with what was going on in the main show. And you could still have done it in a more compressed timeline than is going on right now. You could have given...
just through the return? Or as a secondary...
No, in the return, I think you could have given the main cops in Twin Peaks something to investigate.
Something unrelated.
Unrelated, but parallels.
Right.
While at the same time,
something with a non-supernatural explanation.
Right, but kind of parallels stuff, and then Hawk could have obviously would have come across the other stuff, and he would have had to branch off. But this other investigation would be going on. I don't know. I feel like there's so many missed opportunities here. If you look at, and maybe it doesn't matter. David Lynch's singular vision has an idea. That's fine. But I keep looking at this, and I keep thinking man, especially now when I look at Lillard's performance, it's man, we could have really done something way more awesome. I know people like it, and I feel like people just like it because it's Lynch, and that's fine. Okay.
Some people like it because it's Lynch. Some people like it because it's Twin Peaks, and it's nostalgia.
Both those things can be true, yes. But also it could be something that's also good.
Hey.
In my opinion. Anyway.
Maybe you should take that as a challenge.
Maybe.
Maybe you should get to typing.
I'm never going to do that, Gabe. I'm working on music right now. Come on. Let it go. I got, I'm not a singular artist. I'm a multifaceted, professionally, trained savant artist. Anyway, that makes no sense. But I don't think I'm not going to be making a movie for a while. I'm working on some other shit. I got some other emotions to get out, and I think Lynch does that too, but he does it in a different way. And this is kind of his grandiose, fuck it, I'm just gonna do this, and that's cool. I like that. It's awesome that he did this. But I look at it sometimes and I'm thinking man, if we could have just tightened it a little bit. That's all. That's where I'm at. Anyway, it's fun. This is not a great episode, but it had some great shit in it. I think that's the most positive thing I've said in a long time, actually.
That was a pretty glowing assessment of that Lillard scene. Gotta confess.
No, I thought it was awesome. I'm super excited to see him in Daredevil, actually, now. Because, honestly, he's just always been kind of this guy, but I'm curious now. He has such a range, and I'm actually grateful for.
He's got some depth now.
I'm actually grateful for Lynch for giving him this opportunity to showcase it to me, to see it, because I've always kind of seen him as this kind of goofy actor, but the dude has serious chops. So
He does, and they were fun to watch. Something we definitely enjoyed. Yeah, I'm not going to go over this recap. I think of this last scene. I think we pretty much covered everything that I was going to say. I will
You
say
mean
the
hot
name.
redhead hair with short black dress?
I mean, that's what I noticed.
Is that what the
But
scene was?
the conversation between the two meth head
Oh.
chicks. We don't need any more of that. I will say that the name of the song that Au Revoir Simone is playing over this week's ending credits is called A Violent Yet Flammable World.
I like this song a lot more than the
And
first one, actually.
I liked it. Yeah,
it's
me
a cool
too.
song.
And I am a huge sucker for vocal harmonies, and they throw some creative ones out there. Like there are some chords that
was
you
the
don't
other thing.
hear
That's
in music.
also why I went back to the other episodes. Like, is it the same song? And it's like, no, I went back to that first song. It's like, that first song's fine, but this song is a fucking banger. Like, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, this one makes me want to dive deeper into the catalog, for sure.
100%.
All right. Well, yeah, that's part 9, folks. I watched parts of the behind the scenes episode for this week. I didn't get all the way through it, and we're running long already, so we'll save that for next week. We'll do
Sorry,
parts 9 and 10
I was a
behind the scenes.
chatterbox tonight.
Oh, it was good chatter. Yeah, don't feel bad. This was solid. But yeah, so we'll just skip some of that. Like I said, I didn't even finish the whole documentary of this week's episode anyway, so better off leaving that for next week. We didn't get to the part. I'm hoping that we get to see some footage of that scene with Lillard that we were talking about. We do see Lillard in behind the scenes footage from earlier on in the series, and you can tell that Lynch is really enjoying working with him. So I will say that the only notable part of this week's behind the scenes footage that I wanted to bring up was Kyle MacLachlan and Tim Roth interacting together. Apparently this is the first time they've ever worked together or done a scene together, because there was a lot of compliments back and forth between them about how, oh, big fan of your work, I loved you in this, and like, so the two of them discussing. I mean, I like to think it was sincere, but yeah, I'm sure that sort of shit goes on. But knowing, like, seeing the actors who work with Lynch, seeing how they interact with him, Kyle MacLachlan in particular, I feel like wouldn't have said that shit unless he genuinely meant it. So I thought it was nice to see actors enjoying each other's company on set.
Cool.
I like seeing that stuff instead of hearing all that Hollywood dirt about, who was 8 hours late to the set and who peed in a water bottle and
for sure
who spends more time wrestling than working on his scripts. Those are all The Rock, by the way.
Says the wrestling fan.
Hey, yeah. Wrestling fan doesn't always mean The Rock fan, so.
Cool.
But hey, it is what it is. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us.
Can we just really this is not really connected to Blank as a Fart to Twin Peaks. I don't think he was in a David Lynch's film, but I did see Kyle MacLachlan recognize this actor. Val Kilmer passed away last night, and Val Kilmer was one of my favorite actors, hugely influential in my growing up, and Kyle MacLachlan did say something really nice about him on Twitter or something, Facebook. I don't know. I'll
have to look that up.
I don't have it pulled up, but I just I just wanted to, while we have the platform, I just wanted, I love you, Val Kilmer. Gonna miss you.
Yeah.
Mad Mardigan. To the day.
Mad Mardigan. Batman,
I mean, a lot of things. Everything.
Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday. He's everything. Iceman. He's everything. But I rewatched Willow last night.
Men who grew up in the 80s and the 90s. There is a special place in our heart for that guy, and like Ian, I'm gonna miss him as well. And sad day for fans of good people.
All right, Gabe, go ahead. Get us out of here.
Yeah. So on that note, we're going to take it to the end, and we will say we'll see you next week for part 10. We're at the halfway point. We are in the home stretch. We don't have far to go, but we'll plug in some supplemental material in the last couple of episodes here, and after some discussion, we are probably going to retire the name once this Twin Peaks episode, the name feels very unique to Twin Peaks, so Blank as a Fart will probably end with Twin Peaks, but Gabe and Ian's podcast adventures will continue into the future.
I'm going to propose.
And, hey, if you've got
I'm proposing Farted Blanks as the sequel podcast.
Farted Blanks. I have some ideas. We'll touch base on those in the post show, but yeah. So we do plan on continuing this in the future, and we hope you join us, Twin Peaks fans and non-Twin Peaks fans alike, as we just, knock back a couple of cocktails and ramble about pop culture, iconic series, moments, movies, whatever we feel like talking about at the time. So thanks for listening to us blather on. We have fun doing it.
Indeed.
And like we said, we're available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Audible. Those are the main ones. Am I leaving out any of the... Stitcher's dead. Don't look on Stitcher.
It's all of them.
That's all of them. So yeah, join us on your own time. If you want to catch us on live streaming, we're up every Wednesday night. That's always a good time. But until then, we hope you're enjoying. We hope you're having a good time in the midst of all the goddamn existential crisis that's going on. What? Yeah. Or, for our Canadian fans and our European fans,
we apologize.
Sorry. Really, really, really sorry. But in the meantime, let a smile be your umbrella, and we will see you next Wednesday. Much love.
Peace.